gunshots, 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 gunshots. New information, new information, new information, or should we say breaking news? P Diddy says new information means the judge should let him out of jail. That's where Diddy's at. That's how he's cheering right now, right? If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell and subscribe. Hit the like button and join the membership. I'm going to start putting regular videos over there, regular time, and all these videos before I air them here will go up on the members only first page. All right, so let's get this thing started. Yo, but we're going to break down why, Diddy feels that he's getting ready to get out of jail with this new information. Y'all want this new information? All right, well, you sit back and enjoy the ride. All right. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Now, this unique Mecca audio, I'm here. I like this dude, Jesse Weber from Law and Crime. He be doing the sidebar. He does really good commentary and he breaks this down so fire. Sit back and check out Jesse Weber. This is under fair use. This is just bringing information because he brings good, credible information and good research. All right, but let's take it down here because y'all donated. So you help to improve the studio so we could do things like this. All right. Now, let's start with Jesse.
Some new developments regarding the Sean Combs case, and it concerns bail, his pretrial release. And as we know, Combs currently sits locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn as he awaits trial on federal sex crimes charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. And he is sitting there because he was denied bail twice. This is despite offering a bail package of $50 million, home confinement, a security team to monitor him, essentially 24/7, visitor logs provided to the court, no telephone or internet access, limited visitors coming to that property. Now, the problem for Sean Combs is that the courts were persuaded by the prosecution's argument. The gravity of Combs' allegations, the weight of the evidence, the potential danger he is to society, the risk of flight, and the allegations that he had been improperly contacting witnesses. Now, Combs appealed the latest decision to deny him bail. He appealed it to a higher court in New York. It's called the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, in Combs' bail motion, and we've talked about this on a previous sidebar, so I'm going to get to this before I get into the new stuff, but they wrote, this case does involve extreme and unusual circumstances, but none that typically foreclose bail or warrant forcing Sean Combs to defend himself from a prison cell. What is extreme and unusual about this case is that Mr. Combs was detained immediately after he was charged. It goes on to say, the sensationalism surrounding his arrest has distorted the bail analysis. Mr. Combs was not released pending trial, even though he offered to comply with restrictive conditions that would have prevented any conceivable risk of flight or danger. Now, in this motion, Combs denies the government's accusations of obstruction. His attorneys concede that, yes, he spoke with people about the civil lawsuits that he was facing. Remember, he's been hit with a number of lawsuits, people claiming they were abused by him. But he says he wasn't aware that the Southern District of New York was investigating him. And he claims once he realized he was being investigated, the appeal motion says he made sure not to contact these people anymore. The motion reads, although the government vaguely described contacts with two grand jury witnesses, it proffered no evidence of any threats or intimidation. The government could only state that there were 14 total contacts between Mr. Combs and one witness and another witness who was contacted multiple times. Defense counsel explained these contacts involved no obstruction or witness tampering. For example, one witness contacted Mr. Combs, not the other way around. She reached out to Mr. Combs and told him, I'm a grand jury witness. After Mr. Combs informed defense counsel, he was instructed not to contact the witness anymore and didn't. So in other words, Sean Combs' defense counsel is arguing that the prosecution didn't meet its burden to hold him until trial. By the way, I gotta say, we plan to continue to follow all aspects of this Sean Combs saga as it progresses. And because of the support that we get from our incredible sponsors, that helps us to keep on doing this. So I want to call out one right now.
Now, right? So y'all understand while he doing all that, we're gonna let that ride, you know what I mean? Because this is how we do it over here at the Mecca. Now, Diddy's lawyers did the government's job for them by putting together, right, a bail package, letting them know that, he'll go on house arrest, we'll pay for it. We'll do the house monitor bracelet, we'll pay for it. We'll have limited people. You could even monitor the females that came, being that this is a female associated charge. We did everything you need. We just need you to sign it. And then these people turned around and they said no bail. Now, just from that going on, right? Just from that going on, they turned around and denied him bail, everything else. Let's get back to Jesse Weber.
To this, they are opposing this defense motion. And at the very beginning of their filing, they lay out the status of the case, right? The arrest, the indictment, what has been happening with bail. But they also re-emphasize the allegations and the charges against Sean Combs. So to set the stage, they say, as alleged, Combs and other members and associates of the racketeering enterprise, wielded the power and prestige of Combs' reputation in the entertainment industry to commit federal crimes, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and other offenses, including crimes of violence. From at least 2009 through 2024, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause female victims to engage in sexual activity, which included sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as freak-offs. Freak-offs, which sometimes lasted days, were elaborate sex performances that Combs directed, say he pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. Combs ensured that female victims participated in freak-offs through coercion and violence, including by supplying female victims with controlled substances, subjecting female victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse, controlling female victims' careers, livelihoods, housing, and threatening to disseminate recordings of freak-offs. And after highlighting how serious these charges are, the prosecutors then focused on what happened at the other bail hearings in front of two other judges. Now, specifically, when talking about the second bail hearing in front of District Court Judge Andrew Carter, one of the main pieces of evidence to demonstrate that Combs is a danger to society and shouldn't be released is the 2016 videotape that was published by CNN earlier this year of Combs appearing to beat his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura in a hotel hallway. And prosecutors say that even though Combs tried to say, hey, look, this had nothing to do with a freak-off, this was about a domestic spat, about infidelity, the government writes, based on multiple sources of evidence, the government proffered that immediately prior to Combs' assault of the victim, there was a male commercial sex worker in the hotel room with Combs and the victim who remained inside the hotel room during the assault. Makes me think that that person is probably going to testify at an upcoming trial. Maybe that person was caught on surveillance footage. It goes on to say, the government then read text messages between Combs and...
Yo, look, if there was a dude in the room, right? If there was a dude in the room while this happened, when Catch went out there and got beat up and then he dragged her back in the room, that means he seen her dragged her back in the room. That means he's just as guilty, so he would have been charged with a crime as well. So to prevent being charged with a crime, what they're going to say is you got to make a deal by you testify and say you was in the room when you were scared to get involved because Diddy's a wild person, an aggressive person, a violent person. You couldn't get involved, and that's why you didn't get involved to help Cassie. See how simple this is? You know what I mean? You see, I'll break this down over here, Unique Mecca Audio. Let's go back to these text messages, man.
The victim, which confirmed the victim's severe injuries. The government highlighted text messages sent by Combs himself immediately after the assault, suggesting that Combs feared a law enforcement response, including the following: call me, the cops are here, and yo, please call, I'm surrounded. The government emphasized that whatever the context, the undisputed conduct captured on video, punching, kicking, and dragging the victim, underscored Combs' dangerousness.
Yo, they said that Diddy texted saying, yo, I'm surrounded. Yo, Diddy said, I'm surrounded. Come get me. Get me out of this mess that I got myself into. Please don't tell. I got another $1 million for you. Come on. Oh, my God. What is going on with Diddy? Allegedly.
And prosecutors double down on what happened in this 2016 video. They write, with respect to the March 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel, Combs' counsel characterized the relationship between the victim and Combs as very loving and freak-offs as a sought-after special part of the relationship. Judge Carter responded, "What does this have to do with him punching her, throwing a vase at her, kicking her? What's love got to do with that?"
Yeah, hold up, Judge. Hold up, that's right. That's right, Judge. We understand you're a judge. You've been sitting on the bench. You've been going to years for college, but in this world, not just this country, in this world, you got people that like to get a little rough doing sex. It's strange to me and you, but it's the norm for them. Not saying that this was going on with Cassie, but this is what Diddy is alleging for his defense, that she was down with the, cause that's right. I seen a joint, right? I seen a joint that Charleston White did on one of these joints. Yeah, I'm giving Charleston White a plug. I know y'all don't like him. But Charleston White is a funny mother, right? Charleston White did a joint, man. And Charleston White, go look it up if y'all want. Charleston White said, "Man, I don't see what the big deal is. We all got aunts and uncles that come to the, Thanksgiving dinner or the July 4th cookout. And, they get to fighting, whooping each other out there, smacking each other. She's scratching his face up, and the whole party got to stop to hold him down and hold her down and separate them. And then you looking for them, and they're in a back bathroom knocking boots because they just had their foreplay of knocking each other down and scratching faces. You have some abnormal people." Diddy is saying that was me and Cassie. She liked to get whoop, 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 and then we whoop, 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 and then she liked to have a male worker in. And that's what he's saying. Not saying we believe it. I'm just translating for it. So you can understand what all this legal jargon is dealing with. Because the judge going to ask, what's love got to do with it? It depends what degree of love and twistedness that you have within your mind to make you believe that someone punching you in the face is sexy. Someone kicking you means they love you. Yo, it's crazy, but I know people like that. I've been on the street for a long time, right? That's right. I'm gonna give y'all one y'all don't even believe. I'm gonna shock y'all just like I did when I did the joint up on Vlad when I let you know that I seen Michael Jackson and Burt Reynolds, freebasing up in Studio 54. You know what I mean? Yo, everybody went crazy. This is the real world. Freebasing back then was nothing more than people taking lean. In another 40, 50 years, when people say that certain of their famous rap artists that may become big actors or big moguls, get back up in a place where they tearing Puffy down from, someone is going to say they seen them, sipping lean in the club. And they're going to say, "Oh, no, never, that's not my favorite actors. You know what I mean? Because what I know of them is this and what I know of them is that." But was you in the underground, behind the scenes parties? Do you really know them? Just like we really don't know Diddy. He might be guilty of all of this crap. And I'm not putting it past him. He might be. I can't defend that. I don't know what he do in his bedroom. It's like you don't know what Michael Jackson, Burt Reynolds do in their free time. Just like you don't know what your favorite rappers that's going to become big moguls in the next 30, 40 years did here unless you was there in the club when they was there. Like the prosecutor said in my case, right? The prosecutor said in my case, right? Let me ride. Because I like to ride. The prosecutor said in my case, we're going to get back to Diddy in a minute. This is how we ride over here. You need to make audio, you know what I mean? If you don't like it, you rap bastards and flip-flop win and public trolls. Get off the channel. And for my regular folks, hold on, with my subscribers and my regular folks that came over, cop the book of Rowan Harlem at rowanharlem.com, at Google, Bing, and Amazon. But I'm going to make this public announcement. I do not want not one of you rat bastards to order my book. So don't say I didn't tell you. I don't want not one rat bastard to order my book. I don't even really want you here. But as long as you hear, something might spark your interest and it might take the venom out your heart to want to bring the next person down. But there's nothing I despise more than a rat bastard. I'm just saying for the record. And I add the bastard to it because that's for when someone know that they told, know that they're a rat, but yet they want to deny they're a rat. If you're a rat, admit you're a rat and you don't become a bastard. We just know you're a rat. A bastard is when you're talking about, two different genders, two different people, two different things. When you're talking about being a rat and being stand up. No, you can't be one or the other. What do they? What do the Europeans call that? Oxymoron. How could you be a rat and a stand up person? That's the meaning and an example of an oxymoron. Do you follow the words that I'm saying? But let me get back to where I'm at. I don't roll enough, man.
Combs' counsel continued to argue that there was no sex trafficking, but Judge Carter pressed him to respond to the argument that Combs' violent conduct was relevant to Combs' dangerousness more generally. Combs' counsel conceded, I think it's relevant. I haven't said it wasn't relevant. I'm saying it's not part of the sex trafficking. Combs' counsel nonetheless urged Judge Carter that even if the court doesn't fully trust the package as a whole. So in other words, I think a way of looking at this is, even if it didn't have to do with sex trafficking or racketeering, if you were trying to present the argument that Sean Combs is violent and a danger, whatever reason was behind him essentially beating Cassandra Ventura, that's enough evidence. That's it in of itself. That proves the point. And prosecutors also explained how Judge Carter was especially troubled by the allegations that Combs was reaching out to witnesses, including witnesses who received grand jury subpoenas, that he was engaging in witness tampering, that he was engaging in obstruction. And they say Judge Carter properly denied Combs' motion for bail, just as Judge Tarnofsky did before him. Combs cannot demonstrate that Judge Carter clearly erred when he found, after considering lengthy written submissions, reviewing a transcript of the bail hearing before Judge Tarnofsky, and presiding over extended oral argument, that the government had established by clear and convincing evidence that Combs posed a danger to the community and that no bail conditions could reasonably assure the safety of the community. So
Now, let me break that down so you understand. Let me bring this on the screen up. Show y'all my appreciation, give y'all another visual. Now, right? What they're saying, right? So y'all understand. The first judge denied the bail. Yeah, that was the magistrate judge. The magistrate judge is the baby judge. You know what I mean? See how y'all learn over here, you need Mecca audio. The magistrate judge is the baby judge, right? The baby judge denied it. So then they go to the papa judge. And they said, yo, the baby judge made a mistake and we feel you should correct it. You know what I mean? And they said, nah, I don't feel he made a mistake because I'm the one that appointed him and I know what he's doing and everything he said is right. And you can't show me nothing clear and convincing that he was in error with his decision based on the lengthy evidence and the different testimony, different things that we have and different witnesses. So now I'm going to deny it because I'm going to ride with my baby judge. Now, that papa judge might already know that the baby judge screwed up. But the papa judge is not going to go against him. The same way before the video cameras and the social media, and thank you, round of applause to the iPhone and Android, and the Tesla. Relax. And I'm getting ready to try out that Tesla phone. That joint looked like the camera's bananas. You know what I mean? But thanks to those with the cameras where you can capture the illegal deeds in action, you know what I mean? They can't get away with that no more. Just so you understand. Now, they capture everything. Now, let's get back to Jesse Webb. I don't know if y'all ready for that, man. See, I start saying certain things and I got to think that I got to keep in mind that too much water drown a plant and too much sunlight burns it, which stunts the growth. And I don't want to burn you and I don't want to stun your growth. So let's go back to Jesse Weber.
Take a quick second to explain this. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals, in order to overrule Judge Carter's denial of bail, they would have to find that he clearly made a mistake here. And the tricky part about that is, A, by law, this appeals court has to defer to Carter's reasoning when making this ruling. And B, essentially, they would have to find that the government hasn't established, by something we call clear and convincing evidence, that Combs was a danger to the community or that he would threaten or injure or intimidate a witness. The government has the burden. Yes, the government has the burden, true. But clear and convincing evidence, that is a low standard under the law. It is a lower bar for the government to cross than, let's say, beyond a reasonable doubt. Basically, the government has to show that there is a high probability of this. And here, given these specific charges, prosecutors say by law, there is a presumption that he should be detained. There is a presumption that the defendant is a danger and can't be out on bail. But they also explain that the defendant has a limited burden of production to rebut that presumption. But they also write, even where a defendant produces sufficient evidence to rebut the statutory presumption of detention, the presumption doesn't disappear. Instead, it becomes a factor to be weighed and considered like all the others in deciding whether to release the defendant. And that's going to be important in a minute. But first, federal prosecutors argue that Judge Carter's finding that Sean Combs is a danger, it was supported by clear and convincing evidence. They say Combs is ignoring the charges he faces and the strength of the evidence. They write, quote, as alleged, since at least 2008, Combs has engaged in serious acts of violence, including forcing and coercing women to participate in sex acts with commercial sex workers by using physical force, financial pressure, emotional abuse, narcotics. They continue, although Combs claims on appeal, as he did below, that the freak-offs involved adults voluntarily engaging in consensual sex, the grand jury found probable cause otherwise, and the district court properly credited the allegations in the indictment and the government's detailed evidentiary proffers. Moreover, undisputed video evidence corroborated that Combs used brutal violence against his victims, including by hitting, punching, kicking, and dragging them. And more specifically, when it came to that 2016 video, they write, even if the evidence did not support the conclusion that Combs' assault at the Intercontinental Hotel was related to sex trafficking, which it did, Combs' counsel conceded that Combs' violent conduct against women was nonetheless relevant to his dangerousness. Bottom line here, whether he struck Ventura because of sex trafficking or a domestic dispute, the argument is he's still violent, he's still dangerous. That's all that matters. Now, when it comes to obstruction, the government writes, in arguing that evidence of obstruction was thin and that the government provided no basis to believe that Combs tampered with witnesses, Combs primarily quibbles with the strength of the government's evidence that Combs made inappropriate contact with government witnesses, but Combs ignores altogether the serious and substantial allegations of obstruction, bribery, and witness tampering charged in the indictment as part of Combs' pattern of racketeering activity that amply supported Judge Carter's determination. So sort of using their allegations in the indictment to support the claim that he was reaching out to witnesses. Now, the government continues, the facts, including Combs' text messages that the cops are there, supported the inference that Combs wanted to destroy the hotel surveillance video to avoid prosecution for a vicious assault. And while Combs argues that witness contacts were minimally relevant or entirely innocuous because they concerned civil suits, the suits alleged years of physical and sexual abuse, including sex trafficking, allegations that Combs was plainly aware could subject him to criminal prosecution and investigation. Moreover, as the government made clear, Combs continued to contact witnesses, including witnesses who have received grand jury subpoenas into the summer of 2024, when he undoubtedly knew about the government's criminal investigation. Now, from there, the prosecution argues that Judge Carter didn't make a clear error or mistake when he rejected Combs' proposed bail package that I described earlier. Why? Well, they argue the government established that Combs used methodical and sophisticated means to silence and intimidate witnesses throughout the racketeering conspiracy and during the government's investigation. Combs often used loyal intermediaries to accomplish his objectives and wielded violence and blackmail, as well as his substantial wealth and influence relative to his victims and employees. To achieve compliance, Judge Carter therefore rightly concluded that the proposed conditions were inadequate because they would still permit Combs to obstruct justice and intimidate witnesses through employees and other individuals and even coded messages. Combs baldly asserts that there was not a shred of evidence that Combs used coded messages. As only one example, however, Combs tried to ensure a victim's silence about her sexual trauma by telling her that he needed her and that if she needed Combs too, she ain't got worry about nothing else, alluding to a promise of financial security in exchange for loyalty.
Yo, hold on. Let's stop. I gotta cut this off. Jesse, you sound really good, Jesse. Round of applause to Jesse. Round of applause. Round of applause to Jesse. Jesse, you sound really good, right? But, let me talk to my people so they understand what you're saying and what's going on here. Now, the government have to write a movie script painting Diddy as the villain, and Diddy's attorney have to write a movie script. You know what I mean? Trying to paint the government. There's some lines done with. All right. So it's who writes the best movie script. Now, let's take the facts of what's going on. Y'all put yourself in Diddy's shoes, but were not in his crime. Because I wouldn't want anyone to even phantom being in that situation, because that's an ugly situation with these essays and all that. But imagine if if you get arrested for something, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. Now you're arrested for whatever, and then here goes somebody coming, right? And the police is at your door about the crime. And you know the victim. The victim is your friend. You know what I mean? But you violated in, this a male and a male or a female and a female. A female, you punch your girlfriend in the face. You know what I mean? Because you didn't like what she was saying. You found out she was cheating on your man, whatever, whatever. And homie, you punch him in your face because he owed you money or he tried to talk to your girl or whatever, and you punch him in the face, right? And then the police come to your door. Now the police come to your door, and you see them there, and you know they're there because you punched your same sex friend. You know what I mean? Homie. You know what I mean? In the face. And now, aren't you going to take him? Yo, the police is here. What's up, son? I didn't know he was going to report me. That's what you deserve that, now, dude. You know what I mean? You violated, da 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 da. That's in that situation, right? But Diddy texting Cassie saying, the police is here, da da da. You know what I mean? Cassie's thing is like, hold on, man, you wasn't in no conspiracy. I didn't conspire for you to kick my the way you did and drag me in the room and then make me get back in the SES act with this male, whether I wanted him there or not. At this moment, I choose to ejaculate myself from that situation, and you drag me back in it. Like I don't have a right to say no. And then he said, yo, make this right for me, and I'm gonna make this right for you. You know what I mean? So the way he said, where it says, needed Combs too, right? Okay, I'm gonna read that myself. What Jesse got. This was on the screen. Let's put this on the big joint so I can dissect it the way Jesse dissected it. I'll mess with Jesse. Now it goes, right? So it goes as only one example, right? As only one example, however, Combs tried to ensure a victim's silence about her actual trauma by telling her that he needed her and that if she needed Combs too, that she ain't got to worry about nothing, alluring to a promise of financial security in exchange for loyalty. Y'all telling me watching this, if you punch your friend in the face and you got a case and the police is there, they're going to tell him, yo, come on, man, just tell him that it ain't happening. We're going to let you know what I mean? And I got you. Tell him you want to drop the charges. I got you. That's how most domestic violence and family disputes are handled. And that's why I don't get involved in them. Right? Let me ride. I told my daughter, right, I just come home in prison after 26 years. I went in, she was 18 months. I come home, she's 27, going on 28. Me and her together, we talking, and all of a sudden now we had a disagreement. You know what I mean? So now we got a disagreement. We're not seeing eye to eye on where we at. So I tell her straight up, right? I said, look, regardless of your father, don't call me for none of your relationship problems unless you told the dude to leave and he don't want to leave. Don't call me unless he put his hands on you. Period. That's it. I don't want to meet him. I don't need to talk to him because I may have to crush him. So I don't need to meet somebody that 9 times out of 10 I'm going to crush because I already want to crush him just for talking to my princess. That's how I feel. Just for talking to my daughter, I want to put mitts on him. That's how I felt after coming out of prison after 26 years. And, I left behind a baby this big. And I come home to a full-grown woman. I wanted to put hands on any man that was taking my baby from me. But at the same time, I had to realize that I've been gone and she's a woman now. So all I could do is give her my undivided loyalty and support and let her know whatever you choose to do, I got your back, but don't expect me to meet none of your boyfriends. Because I'm telling you, if you come to me and tell me anything about them, it's going to be bloodshed. And how far and how deep the blood, that's one thing. So don't tell me nothing about your relationship. Tell that to your mother. Tell that to your brother. Tell that to your sister. Keep your daddy out of it, because we don't play none of that crap. So you understand. You feeling where I'm at with this? Or I'm losing you? All right. So now, right. That's how me and her fell out. And then, of course, when things went sour, then she realized, damn, dad was right. You know what I mean? But don't call me unless it's a problem. Same situation with this. Remember, everything I do go back. So you gonna ride back to Diddy. You know what I mean? My daughter gets into a situation and her man, okay, she's fighting him and he's trying to hold her off. And in the meantime, in between that, she gets a lump on her eye, a scratch on her face. It might even be from her own hand, from him trying to hold it. If she come in front of me with this scar on her face, his blood will be shed, and she do not have a say so in that. So if that happens, she knows, go patch it up, go let it heal up. Don't even put makeup on it, because if daddy think he can see through the makeup and like my mama used to do it, and then wipe my eyes from the coal in my eyes. That's how I'm gonna wipe that makeup off. And if it look like anything has changed or is abnormal about my baby, there will be bloodshed. And that's where I was at. So now dude get into something. 'Cause remember, we riding back to Diddy. So now dude begs her, don't tell your father, don't tell your father, don't tell your father. Your father's at the door, your father's at the door. Same thing. The police is at the door with Diddy. Yo, the police at the door, the police is at the door. Take care of it, and I got you. Your father's at the door, your father's at the door. Man, tell him it wasn't nothing, and I got you. Whatever you want, I got you. Is that a crime? The crime was committed when he put his hands on my baby. The crime was committed when Diddy allegedly put his hands, feet, and everything else on that woman, which is someone else's baby. But they in a different field than me, so they're gonna let the legal process play out. Myself, I'm just keeping it 100, and it's just my opinion. This is my feeling. It's just my belief. It's just my way of life. I want his blood. I don't need the court to do nothing for me. If I can't get to him, I don't even want the court to handle it. If I can't do it myself, that's just me. Hey, let's get back to Jesse, man. I've been riding long enough. I hope y'all keeping up, man. God. Oh.
Now, while Combs asserts that this incident did not involve an intermediary, Combs then texted an employee to ensure that his financial advisor kept paying the victim's rent. The evidence therefore supported the conclusion that even if confined to his home, Combs has the means and the influence to evade even seemingly restrictive bail conditions. Now, prosecutors, they also focus on a more policy reason too. Should we give Sean Combs, someone who is so wealthy and has the means to provide such an attractive bail package, the opportunity to stay out of detention because he can?
Hold up. So do you deny him because he's successful enough to be able to put together a $50 million bail package when he has a constitutional right that he's innocent until proven guilty? Or is he guilty because he have the bag to put up a $50 million bail? You see, I make you think in Unique Mecca Audio. Did you hear what Jesse just said? And I mess with Jesse, so I ain't shooting Jesse no shot. But I'm just saying, he's speaking on he has money, so he shouldn't get a bail. Should we give somebody so wealthy the bail? The bail now is not for wealthy people when we know for a fact, and I know for a fact that I was in prison with dudes that was wealthy enough to do the most horrendous crimes around me, and I watched them walk out the room because they was wealthy and they was. I seen a couple of get away too, but majority, that's what it is. You see where I'm at? Now Diddy's being punished for the accusation, which he needs to be, in my opinion, that's all it is, castrated for. You know what I mean? But he's also being punished for being a billionaire. She didn't get the bail package because he's so wealthy. So we give the bail package to somebody so wealthy, so filthy rich, and da da da. Does that make sense to you? I thought bail was a constitutional right that everyone should be able to have a bail that within their financial means. He didn't ask you for a $5,000 bail, which, like I said before, he did in so many words because that's a disrespect to the government. You give Cassia an alleged 30 million to 100 million, and then you offer us 50 million for your freedom. You must think I'm a sucker. I know they wanted to just lay mitts on that dude when he told her that lousy fit. The government was like, I write my ASS with 50 million when I get a dude like you in my grips. This how the government thinking right now. They telling Diddy straight up. They stand in the door cell. This how they stand in Diddy door cell, right? I got to put the big joint up here for this. This how they stand in Diddy door cell, right? They stand in Diddy door cell like this. You know you got to come better than that. This what the government tell them. You know you got to come better than that. What you expect us to do with 50 million? By the time everybody up above get their cut and get trickled down, we won't get nothing. So what make you think we're gonna settle for 50 million when we're not gonna get nothing? Tighten up, Diddy. We'll be back in a few days. Oh, your lawyer's here to see you. You know what I mean? That's how they do that, man.
A defendant who's facing such serious charges, they write, the district court rightly rejected Combs' effort to pay his way out of detention when the record established that no set of conditions can ensure the safety of the community. This court has expressly held that the Bail Reform Act does not permit a two-tiered bail system in which defendants of lesser means are detained pending trial, while wealthy defendants are released to self-funded private jails. That's an interesting argument there. And finally, prosecutors respond to the allegation that Judge Carter essentially summarily decided Combs was a danger and was engaging in obstruction without holding the government's feet to the fire, that they didn't properly prove he was doing the things that they were alleging to justify pretrial detention. In other words, government, where's your evidence? Well, the government responded, quote, given the thorough proceedings below, this court should swiftly reject Combs' argument that Judge Carter committed legal error by failing to make factual findings or to weigh required factors. While the Bail Reform Act includes a provision requiring written findings of fact and a written statement of the reasons for the detention, this court has explained that whereas here, the court's findings and reasons for issuing a detention order are clearly set out in the written transcript of the hearing, the requirement of a writing is satisfied. At the end of the hearing, Judge Carter denied bail only after reiterating, I've heard from the parties and I've reviewed everything, which included written submissions from the parties and the transcript of Judge Tarnofsky's bail hearing. As memorialized in the transcript, Judge Carter then specifically found that Combs posed a danger to the community and a risk of obstruction based on the evidence put before him. This is therefore not a case where the detention order contained only implicit findings or no finding whatsoever. So as the government in this filing is asking the Second Circuit to affirm Judge Carter's denial of bail, and for the reasons that I laid out, it seems quite likely they will do so because given the legal standard and given the evidence that has been presented, something else has happened which we need to talk about. Combs' team has now filed another motion asking the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to not do anything, to suspend his appeal of the bail decision. Don't do anything. Don't make a decision on it. It's called holding the appeal in abeyance. Hold it in abeyance until Combs' team has the opportunity to now argue the issue of bail in front of the new judge overseeing Combs' criminal case. This is the third judge in the case. This is Judge Arun Subramanian from the Southern District of New York. We talked about him on an earlier sidebar because he had a hearing last week. But this is really interesting. They're asking now the Second Circuit, don't do anything. I know you heard our arguments. I know you heard the prosecutions. Don't do anything yet. Wait until we have an opportunity to now present this issue to the judge overseeing the criminal case.
All right, so let me break that down, right? Let me come up on the big joint for you. What they saying is, Diddy got denied bail, right? He seen another judge, and they decided, okay, let me say it right. He saw the baby judge, which is the magistrate, and then the papa judge, which is the district judge, the district judge. denied it, standing on what the baby judge said. Because, you know, they ride with each other just like the men in blue, just like the dudes on the street, just like the gangbangers, just like us drug dealers, ex-drug dealers, ex-kingpins. We ride together. They ride together. So the baby judge, the magistrate denies it. The district judge, the papa judge, denies it. And then he goes to their whole family. He goes to the mother, the father, and the uncle, which is the appeals court, and say, hey, they both wrong. You know, da 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 da. You know, Papa Judge only went along with it because the baby judge, because we put up a handsome package where we get him $50 million, and everybody on the Sixth Amendment have a right to have a fair trial, to have what they call it, Sixth Amendment. All right, I got to come back in my mind. Sixth Amendment is, you know, you have a right to confront your accuser. That's going to be the next thing that he ordered. You have a right to confront your accuser. You know what I mean? So now, and every man is innocent until proven guilty. So then he turns around now and he goes to the appeals court, files in the appeal court, and then he gets lucky and they appoint him a new lawyer, a new judge who was appointed by a Democrat, which is what they call liberals. Say they're more liberal and they're more understanding than a Republican that is, you know, more conservative, which is more go by the Constitution is the only difference. Where the Democrats, to me, in my opinion, they go by their emotions, meaning, let me give you an example. Man, I'm already on 41 minutes, but I'm riding good with y'all. Y'all got a blessed day. Make sure you subscribe to the membership page. I'm going to start putting these videos over here separately, and then from the membership page, then I'm going to bring them over here. So that's how I'm going to do it. So sign up for the membership to be first online. With that, get your free t-shirts and the unique Mecca audio cards and all that, right? So now, you know, see me running my mouth, rambling. I almost forgot what I was going to say, but I'm going to get right back to it because there ain't nothing, you know, to ride. All right, and a couple of gunshots to shake my head back in place. Now, we got Diddy, right? So he goes to the appellate court, and when he goes to the appellate court, right, he gets this new judge that he feels he got a better chance at asking for a bail. So he tells the appellate court, which is the family, the mother, father, and uncle, he tells them, hold it. Put everything on abeyance. That means put everything on pause. Simple, Jesse, no disrespect. Diddy's attorney told him, put everything on pause. We didn't need to say abeyance, but we said it for the people that understand it. Diddy just said, put everything on pause until we could get a chance to argue this in front of the new judge, and then we'll rewrite what we have up there and submit it based on the new judge's opinion, because we have a new judge. So therefore, you don't need to hear this because we're getting another shot at bail anyway. See how simple that is? And that's where the appellate court, 9 times out of 10, is going to say, okay, we're going to hold it in advance so that if this new third judge deny you, Diddy, then you could come back to the appellate court with that same motion you already have in, pull that out, remaster it, and remix it, and then resubmit it based on the denial of this third judge that you're waiting to go in front of. Because let's ride. And we're going to ride properly. Because if the appellate court rule right now, today, that Diddy's wrong, I mean, he ain't supposed to get out of jail, that they could hold him. You know what I mean? And that the lower court, the baby judge and the papa judge didn't make no mistakes, and us as the big family judge, we're just letting you know straight up, we agree with the papa judge and the lower judge, you know, baby judge. And now, you know, that's our order, that we agree with them. So now when it goes in front of this new judge that I think it was Biden appointed or somebody appointed, right? That's a Democrat. Now this new Democratic appointed judge, which is supposed to be, so they say, allegedly, more liberal, right? Meaning more emotional, you know, where Democrats, okay, Democrats, through the Democrats' blood runs feelings, emotion, and compassion. Through the Republican blood runs the Constitution and hardball. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if the appellate court rules on that now, and then did he go in front this third judge, he don't stand a chance because as soon as he walk in, the third judge is gonna say, "You already took it to my mama, papa, and uncle, and they already ruled on this bail hearing, so I don't have to rule on it or touch it." So that's why I say, "Oh, let's hit the side. Let's put the brakes on it. Give me a chance to try my hand down here and then come back up to you and we remaster this joint just like we at Diddy's house." That's where they at. All right, so been on long enough with that. Let's get to the end of this. We only got a couple more minutes.
Now, I know what you might be saying. I don't get it. Combs was denied bail twice by two different judges. He appealed this to a higher court in New York. Why is he asking them to wait on ruling on this? Why go to Judge Subramanian? Well, this is where it gets interesting. So Combs' team says that during that hearing that I mentioned with Judge Subramanian last week, and we covered it on a previous sidebar where they talked about the evidence, they talked about the trial date. Well, apparently the defense says that during that hearing, Subramanian remarked, if the defense has any bail application that they would like to raise, then the court will certainly hear it. Now, in their motion, and this part is key, Combs' lawyers say because certain relevant new information has come to light since the detention order, Mr. Combs intends to file a renewed motion for pretrial release on conditions with an updated proposed bail package in the district court.
Pause. You see how good I am at this? Man, I'm so good at this. Just coming out of prison after 26 years. Check it out, Rob. Let me break that down to you. The new judge comes on, right? The third judge, he comes on and he says, look, right off the rip, because he's a liberal. Well, alleged liberal. That's what they call the Democrats. Because he's a Democrat. He comes right on, he says, Diddy, if you have a bail package you'd like to put together, submit it to me. He didn't say, Diddy, you already had 2 bail hearings. They done denied you. That's it. He said, if you have a new bail package, bring it to me. So that's the same thing like I said when that FBI agent stand at Diddy's cell, telling them, come better than that. 50 million. I wipe my ASS with 50 million, Diddy. You cold disrespecting me. You no good trigger. How could you think you could talk to the government like that? Don't you know that on your indictment it says clearly the United States of America versus your black ASS. That means every 52 states is against you, and now we have something called social media that we get your own people to tear you down and they get monetized. So we're paying them to tear you down indirectly through YouTube because now we come back and Instagram, Twitter, and everything else. You know, this is what they allegedly say. Let's just get that right. They allegedly say, I've given them too much game where they're going to try and twist it. You know how rat bastards go. So they tell them, like, you know, you don't stand a chance, dog. Come better than that or sit down. Watch the package he put together next time. I bet you to be way over 100 million. He gonna tighten his game up. That don't mean he gonna get it. But if he tighten it up high enough where everybody can get a little palm grease, a little oil grease, the wheels, the chain, the axle, and then you might get a chance to go lay up in your mansion and maybe fuel the jet. You know, allegedly.
Now, to be clear, not sure what they mean by new information. Is this something about Combs' conditions in the MDC? Could it be evidence that he did not engage in improperly reaching out to witnesses and victims? When they say new evidence, is it really new evidence, or is it something that they've already argued to the Court of Appeals? Not entirely clear. But they say this renewed request is based on, quote, changed circumstances. So that's really interesting. And what would a new package look like, a new bail package? Now, of course, if the district court approves bail for Sean Combs, his attorneys have indicated they will drop this appeal in the Southern Circuit. So we will wait to see what happens. There's a lot of moving parts. And of course,
Stop. You heard what he just said? He just said everything that I said summed up. His defense said that if the new judge grants him bail, they're going to drop their motion that they're holding in advance, that they're going to have to redo if the new judge deny it. But if the new judge grants him bail, we don't need it. But pay attention now. if the appellate court rules on that motion before before they keep it in advance, that means that the fix is in and it's a wrap, because that means that they would tie his hands, the lower court judge, the new judge, they'll tie his hands where he can't make a bail ruling, because they'll say the appellate court, which is my mama, my papa, and my uncle, already spoke. So you pay attention to see if they're going to hold that appeals court joint in advance. And I know ain't nobody telling you this. Not even my brother Jesse Weber. And I love Jesse. But I've been through it, so I know what it is. And I'm already playing chess in this. And I know where they're going with Diddy. That's why I don't understand why you young people get in trouble and you don't have the common sense. Say, let me call a dude that sat in there for 26 years and lived in a law library for 26 years, that ate, defecated, farted, slept, you know what I mean, and worked out for 26 years. Something wrong with y'all, boy. Something wrong with y'all. But anyway, we're going to get this thing moving, man. Come on, because we're almost done.
Of course, if Judge Subramanian has the opportunity to now review this bail motion, will he look at it differently than Judge Tarnofsky, than Judge Carter? Will Sean Combs be released? We'll see, with a little bit of unknowns about what the defense will present. But as we mentioned, the prosecution makes some very, very solid arguments. But for right now, that's all we have for you.
All right, so that's all we got for you right now. Just so that you know what time it is. Don't say that I didn't tell you. We're here at Unique Makeup Audio. Cop the book of Raw in Harlem. You already know it's at Google, Bing, all that at rawinharlem.com. And, we're going to do what we got to do, man. So don't say I didn't tell you what time it is. All right. Now, do you remember, let me see. I want to show y'all some, I want to show y'all a little happier times. You know what I mean? I want to show y'all a little happier times of Diddy chilling, living high on the hog. You know what I mean? Living high on the hog at the time. Should I show this to him? You know what I mean? Should I show this to him? All right, this is what we're going to do. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Cash App is on the screen. Make sure you hit the icon on the Cash App when you go to send the money. And it says it was created in 2020. Cop the book at Raw in Harlem. Join the membership pages. Y'all gonna get the videos first before they drop over here. So don't say I didn't tell you. So you people come on in and the chat's going on in the chats and everything diving along. And then somebody is telling what's gonna come on next. And then you sitting there saying, how he know? Because he's a member. All right.
Cheers. Toast the crime. Toast the crime. The crime. The crime. The crime. Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. Did not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squealed to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was wine. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the